I do know McCown. I've watched him over the years, and certainly appreciate his leadership and the way he carries himself in the various locker rooms that he's been. He's a real team guy, and he gives certainly some solid leadership. But recently I was talking about this situation, and I really hope that Hackenberg steps up and wins the job, and that's not to wish Josh any bad luck. It's just that I think we need the young guy to develop to improve this season and hopefully make the playoffs, if not this year, next year.
Yeah,
but we got to get one of those young guys some work.
They got to get one of them in there, whether it be Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg. I think they're behind the eight ball again, Joe, and the reason for this, and you know this just like I do, it's another offense. It's another coach calling the plays, designing the plays, describing the plays. The verbiage is different. There are going to be a lot of guys that have never played with each other ever before stepping on that field. The anxiety level goes through the roof. And the one reason why the Patriots are so good is because they have a quarterback back there who is, in my eyes anyway, the greatest quarterback of all time that kind of calms everybody down, is able to give them tips before the ball is snapped, reminds people of what they have to do, when they have to do it, and how they have to do it. And young quarterbacks, like Christian Hackenberg and Bryce Petty, just have not been in that situation before. So I don't know if Josh McCown's going to be the starter as the season opens, because they'll feel a little bit safer with him, and I'm sure he knows the offense a little bit better than those two guys. But everybody that plays that position right now for the Jets is really in a very, very tough situation to look good.
I agree. You know what you're talking about there for sure, Boomer, and I also have to agree with what you say about the guy up at New England. We've seen some great athletes play the game, but Brady has been fortunate with his coaching staff and the consistency and his teammates to be put in that competitive position of championship games more times than most guys, and he's owned up. He's played great in every one. He's played, even in the losses, he played well. So I think Brady is just absolutely the best, given the circumstances of competing the way he has and the results. Yeah, if you got to start with a list, I have to start him. Otto Graham was one of my favorites, by the way, Boomer. He took the old Cleveland Browns to the championship or the playoffs about 10 times.
Yeah, I remember Otto. I met Otto because Otto was, the quarterback for Paul Brown, who ultimately became the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, and he always talked about Otto Graham. He was great, But I will say this, as we talked to the great Joe Namath, who's made it difficult for every Jet quarterback since Joe Namath to play quarterback for the New York Jets, and I can attest to that because we live in his shadow. Hey, were you surprised that Tony Romo decided to give it up and go into the broadcast booth?
No, I wasn't. I was looking forward to seeing him play as I have for several years, but given this recent history of his injuries, making a shift, Boomer, you made a couple, I made one. It's not as easy as it may look for some people. It certainly wasn't for me. And thinking about Tony's situation, no, I think he's going to be sensational. I'm hoping for him to be anyway. And I saw he's a pretty good golfer, too. He tried to get into this
into the U.S.
tournament
Open, yeah.
coming up, the Open, but he may still have that in the back of his head, too.